We have lived through a very fascinating era in human history. The rise and potential fall of big tech. It's all we've ever known, so we don't think it's weird. But history will definitely look back at this time period that we're living in right now, call it something, call it the computer age probably, but whatever it's called, it will define the age, like the invention of irrigation or ships that can sail across the ocean, or the Bronze Age, or the invention of gunpowder, right? Like how completely revolutionary was gunpowder? How much did that change the world? The printing press, of course, is one of the big ones. The steam engine, the railways, the telegraph, the telephone, electric light, the car, the airplane, and in our lifetimes, the computer. And after each one of these inventions, nothing was the same. Everything changed. Neil Postman made this point that if you have a glass of water and you drop some red dye in it, you don't get clear water with a little circle of red dye in it. You now have red water. And that's true with technology. After the printing press was invented, you didn't get old Europe plus the printing press. You had a new Europe. And the same has been true with computers that we've lived through. We've lived through a new America. Now, it's all we've ever known, but it's new. It's completely different than an America that's ever been. And what a rise it was. It went from these guys in 1955, I'll explain this crew in a minute, to the next generation, Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, Bill Gates, and all the young scrappy men like them in their garages in the 70s. So it went from the guys in the black and white to the guys in the 70s to now the next generation, this.
Day in the life as a 23-year-old product manager at Meta. I always journal in the morning. I then do a quick workout routine. I get dressed. I try to look cute every day. Got some food at the office. I make a coffee every single morning. I need that. I did some work on the roof. Worked until lunch and then ate up there. Here's me being cute. I got a snack always. I then shuttled home. The view's so pretty. Met up with some friends for dinner, and then my boyfriend came over and was acting like a DJ for my dog.
She just drank coffee and ate food. I'm pretty sure William Shockley and those guys in that first picture in 1955 did not imagine that happening when he won the Nobel Prize for inventing the computer transistor. They're like, oh, one day this invention will create adult daycare for hundreds and thousands of college graduates, and will create influencer girls who will get lots of followers looking cute. Pretty sure that was not his vision, alas. That's what we have. So who are those guys in the black and white picture? Oh, by the way, is there any question about the upcoming fall of big tech? And those are the people who are working it. So who are the guys in that black and white picture, that first one we shared? William Shockley was the leader. He's known as the founder of Silicon Valley. William Shockley. When he was starting his career, the center of the tech world was Bell Labs in New Jersey, not far outside of New York City. So this is where all the great technology minds worked, was at Bell Labs. But William Shockley left Bell Labs to go take care of his ailing mother. All right, so he wanted to move closer to his mom, and he brought a bunch of guys with him. He started Shockley Semiconductors, and he recruited the best minds in this new technology to come work for him at Shockley Semiconductors. Now, he was a terrible manager, and everyone quit. 8 guys in particular, they're known as the Traitorous 8. These men, when they left Shockley Labs, went on to start Intel and AMD. One of them joined with the founder of Hewlett-Packard to start a venture capital fund called Kleiner Perkins, which went on to invest in AOL and Amazon and Electronic Arts and Google and Netscape and Sun Microsystems and Twitter and you name it. One of the biggest names in venture capital ever. All those companies that were started from Shockley Laboratories, from the Traitorous 8, of course wanted to be where the action was in this new up-and-coming place now we call Silicon Valley. But the question is, why Silicon Valley? Why San Francisco? It's because William Shockley moved there. Well, why did he move there? Because his mom lived there. His ailing mother lived in Palo Alto. That's it. That's why Silicon Valley is in California. If his mom lived in Tulsa, that's where Silicon Valley would be. I grew up thinking that there was something special or unique about like the geography of Silicon Valley, but there's not. It's not like there's a ton of silicon there. It's just where his mom lived. There's nothing town of Palo Alto. If his mom lived in Nashville, then the culture of big tech today would be completely different. Alas, it got infected with San Francisco values. Now it's a very different beast than, well, it could have been if it were anywhere else. As Glenn Reynolds put it, in the 1990s, it seemed plausible that the workforce of tech companies would rise up in revolt if their products were used for repression. But now they rise up in revolt if their products are not used for suppression. In 1984, the famous Apple commercial was them destroying Big Brother. Now they are Big Brother. And I think about that because would Silicon Valley starting in a different city, if William Shockley's mom was in Tulsa, would that have changed the trajectory of big tech? And would we be in a different place today? I don't know. Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe it's just absolute power and it corrupts no matter where you are. And what a shame. What a shame with how Silicon Valley and the tech companies started and the libertarian pro-freedom attitude that they had originally and what they've since become. Because they grew unlike anything's ever grown before. How about this fact? The S&P 500. S&P 500 are the biggest 500 companies in the stock market. Right? Biggest 500 companies in America. The 5 big tech companies, Apple, Google, Amazon, Facebook, and Microsoft, make up 23% of the S&P 500. So you're investing in the S&P 500 thinking you're investing in the top 500 companies in America. I mean, you are, but you're mostly investing in the big 5 tech companies. And that's a massive change. Just in 2001, so just over 20 years ago, the 5 biggest companies in America were number 5, Citi, number 4, Walmart, number 3, ExxonMobil, number 2, Microsoft, and number 1, GE by far. It was only 20 years ago. And now none of those companies are in the top 10 except for the one tech company, Microsoft. Now it's Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Facebook, top 5. It was only 20 years. Now, what does all that money get you? Because these companies have a lot of money. Well, it gets you a lot of power and a lot of influence. And unfortunately, with their worldview, that's not good for us. These people used to have a very libertarian freedom mindset. Google's first motto, do you know what Google's first motto was? Their founding ethos was don't be evil. Don't be evil. And look what they've become. Now all that money comes also, or leads to, a lot of wasting money. I remember reading about Google's headquarters. Do you remember this? This was right in the beginning of the rise of big tech, Facebook and all the rest. But Google in particular, they had like super fun offices with ball pits and slides and like all it's like, what? But I remember I was like a kid when this is the thing. It's like, oh, like appeal to millennials, right? Oh, that's where you gotta be. What a bizarre thing that was. And now because of this inadvisable rise of big tech, we have the fall and layoffs all over the place. And hopefully serious people can maybe take over these companies. But maybe they can't be saved. I don't know. Is this the death of Silicon Valley? Is it the end of Silicon Valley? I don't know, like 20 years ago, the tobacco companies were in the top 10 biggest companies in America. You go back 100 years ago, and none of those companies even exist. So 100 years from now, do we think the Silicon Valley companies will exist? Why would we? Why would we think that? Why would they exist in 100 years? I don't know. Or maybe it'll be fine. Maybe Silicon Valley will just go back to a more sensible place where they should have been all along. And where they'd be if the government didn't lock the whole world up in their homes for a couple of years. But to prevent a free fall, there's no question that big tech needs its next invention. And I can assure you this, technology, this point forward, will not be getting less invasive. No one's gonna make that argument. These people in Silicon Valley, they still have this vision of hitting it big, right? People still want to be the next Mark Zuckerberg and his 10 homes, including 1,400 acres in Hawaii. Can you believe that? 1,400 acres of Hawaii real estate. So there's still a lot of money to be made. But the best way to make big money isn't to serve you. That's what it's always been about. Right? That was the beginnings, right? We're gonna serve people. We're gonna help people. We're gonna create a product that people want, so they will buy it. That's the beginnings of technology. But now, big tech is about controlling you. It's about selling you. That's how to make money. Find out new ways to sell you and therefore control you. So get ready for Elon's brain chips. Washington Post just wrote an article the other day. Artificial intelligence is reviving San Francisco's tech scene. Welcome to Cerebral Valley. What are they talking about? It's all about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence has the ultimate goal of melding technology directly to your brain. As Elon Musk says, you're already part cyborg with your phone addiction. Where's your phone? Right now, where's your phone? Ting, right here, right? It's always right on you. You're already part cyborg. Why not go all the way? Just inject it right in your brain. Microsoft's invested $10 billion in open AI. And it's not just them. Google and all the rest have their own artificial intelligence projects here. And that's next. That's next. The big tech revolution, as we've known it, is on its last legs. But there's another one coming. So the question is, can we and will we learn the lessons of the last one? And I think the big lesson is, maybe these people don't have our best interest at heart. You think, oh, like, so do we, like, the beginnings of big tech was like TiVo. Like, okay, sure. That's not what it is anymore. It's not that kind of technology. These people don't have your best interest. Can we learn the lesson that maybe these people in Silicon Valley, their worldview is very different than yours in some profoundly important ways? Like, they don't believe in freedom, for one. Maybe their vision for what they want the world to look like is not a good one. And we shouldn't just give them so much influence over our lives. Can we learn that lesson? Or not? Or let's just dive headfirst again. We won't check how deep the water is. We'll just dive headfirst and see how it goes. Hey, thanks for watching that clip from our special Big Tech Revolution. We talk about the rise and potential fall of big tech and how big tech started and where they are now, where they're going, and all that good stuff. And you can watch that on the First TV app, available in the App Store. Also, our podcast, Politics by Faith, because all this big tech and transhumanism and computer chips in your brain kind of stuff, it's anxiety creating, no question. What's next with that? How do we work with that? How do we raise our kids in this new big tech world where everything is different? That's the kind of things we talk about in our podcast, Politics by Faith, where we take a thing that causes anxiety that's in the news, and then we give some historical perspective and biblical piece to help that anxiety go away. Because I don't want to be living with anxiety. I want to be able to sleep at night. And I want to wake up refreshed, clear-eyed, ready to take on the day with wisdom and clear thinking. So that's the purpose of our podcast. And you can listen to that anywhere you listen to podcasts. It's called Politics by